strolling through the jungle one day. Met a girl and the voice from the girl said, baby, would you like to come with me? You see, my daddy rode on the
The 1989 film Uncle Buck, I would consider this to be underrated. There is a lot that I like about this one, and even more than 3 decades later, this is still talked about because it is beloved by a lot of people out there. For the record, I actually had watched it for the first time a year and a half ago, and finally getting around to this, going back to rewatch it for this review. Not only one of the better films from the late 1980s, but there's just some likable characters within this one. So the story of this film is about a bachelor, and he's asked by his brother to come and babysit his children. A rebellious teenage daughter and her younger brother and sister while the parents are away out of town. Yeah, this is another John Hughes movie that I really do appreciate because not only is the story enjoyable, but the characters are very relatable. Especially the character Buck, he ends up caring a great deal for these kids to look out for their well-being. That there are many entertaining moments that makes this have a lasting legacy even all these years later. Overall, while this is personally not one of my favorite comedies from the late John Hughes, it definitely still has a lot of surprising moments that still hold up pretty well despite how old this movie is. The late John Candy did such a good job playing Buck. Yeah, he is a bachelor. He doesn't want any responsibility. He doesn't have kids of his own. But when he goes to watch his 2 nieces and nephew, they actually make him a better person in terms of commitment. Like for example, his girlfriend, Charnice. In the beginning, he doesn't want to marry her, but towards the end, he is more open to that idea. Not only that, he cooks the kids breakfast, he does the laundry, he even keeps out a birthday clown because he's too drunk to entertain the kids. He is a very likable uncle. The child actors, they did just as a great job as well. Macaulay Culkin and Gabby Hoffman, I definitely like their performance. Because Miles, for example, he asks a lot of questions. Kind of reminds me of a couple of kids that I had met over the years. You know, children that ask adults a lot of questions. And you know, he is a very young individual that's smart. And then there's Tia. Tia, she got on my nerves a little bit because she was so disrespectful when Buck had first showed up. This young teenage girl just has no respect for her elders, let alone her uncle. But you know, throughout time, she actually does warm up to him. And not only that, I thought that Jean Louise Kelly, she did a good job for her first film role. But a lot of this film, it definitely has some feel-good moments. It's very entertaining. The runtime is 100 minutes, which is perfect for a film like this. And overall, this is such a beloved movie that many people out there are still talking about it to this day. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. While I only have checked out 2 other movies from John Candy's filmography, I do want to check out more of his work because his comedy, it definitely is something special. One character that I could not stand was Bug. He was no good for Tina. He was an awful boyfriend. So it actually was a good thing that Bug had came to her rescue and ended up scaring Bug off near the end of it, which was a wholesome moment because Buck does care a lot for Tina despite how mean she was to him earlier in the movie. And that's my review of Uncle Buck. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.
You see, I'm that night, we were so full of desire. Dance so hard until we dance higher. By the people, so their hearts wouldn't harden. By the light of the bombs in the garden.